Okay.
Just let me know when it's gone live. I think it has. Has it gone live?
हाँ जी बिल्कुल it is going live. Recording भी on हो गया है.
Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are getting back. Archana had gone for a holiday where there was a Wi-Fi problem. So we are back today in the morning, bringing you back beautiful understanding of Bhagavad Gita. And Dr. Archana from Delhi will carry us through this journey. And she's going to be talking to us about senses today, which is called Indriya. And she's also going to be talking about how Lord Krishna actually helps Arjuna to understand what these senses and how he can master these senses to master his destiny. So over to Archana. Archana, could you just please introduce yourself, where you are, what do you do? And yeah, that would be brilliant. Thank you.
Namaskar, good morning to everyone. I'm Dr. Archana Kumar. I'm in Delhi practicing homeopathy here. Learned metta from Manu, practicing that, and a bit of numerology and color therapy. And Bhagavad Gita is, like I say, that's my life elixir. And that's what I'm trying to just talk about it to all of you.
Just to let you know, Archana, a lot of people have come back and given us a feedback that thank you for getting this, because they wanted to always know about Bhagavad Gita. I'm also a seeker. I wanted to understand it more. But so I'll just say this. I've been a little selfish here. Okay. I don't like reading books. So what's the best way to get that knowledge? We have a person who can talk about it. Let's get her. It's fun to get it for you as well as for me. So I'm also learning along with you guys. Namaste.
Namaskar. Okay, now last when we talked about the five senses. We talked about the Gyanendriyas, the Karmendriyas. Now please understand, Gyanendriyas basically are the five senses through which we attain the knowledge of the physical world. All right. So they are called Gyan is knowledge, attaining the knowledge of the physical world through which the senses that we perceive them, we understand them, and give it to the Panchabhut physical body are the Gyanendriyas. All right. Now, what is happening here? There are, I had mentioned there are 23 tattvas through which we perceive the environment, and the body is comprised of them. I'll just brush you all up through it. The main, yeah.
What's the meaning of tattva?
Tattva are the essence, the contents, the basic, what everything is made of, consider. That's the basic, all
20,
right, ingredient, you know.
that elements?
We can call it elements, but because I'm going to mention the Panchabhut elements, I use elements there. And yes, these 23 are also the elements, the basic ingredients of which the whole body, Atma, is comprised of.
Oh, brilliant. So it's not just the body, but the Atma together. That
Included in
three.
it. Yes.
Wonderful.
The characters, yes. Now we start with the Panch Mahabhut, which we call as Akash, Bhumi, Vayu, Agni and Jal. That is, Akash is ether or sky, all right? Bhumi is earth, the land. Vayu is air. Then Agni is fire and Jal is water. The basic five elements existing in the nature comprising our basic body. Including them, we have the sensations, which we call Vishay, which we perceive through the external five senses, sense organs. All right, they are the sense of smell through nose, the sense of beauty, roop, through our eyes, the vision, ras, which we perceive through our tongue, sparsh, which is touch, we feel through our skin, and sorry for that. And then we go to our shabd, which is again spoken from our mouth. Okay. And gandh, which we perceive through our nose. So there are five of them. Besides this, we have indriya, which are attaining the knowledge. Now they are the nose, eyes, ears, mouth, and skin. All right. Now, another set is which we call the karmendriya. Please understand, karmendriya are the organs which actually do the action. They do the work. They do the action, work, and yeah, sorry for that.
Can you
The work.
switch off the ringer?
Yeah, just a minute. That
Thank,
it's not happening. Just 1 second.
thank you. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, the karmendriya are basically the ones which the action, and they are performing all the works using all rest of the organs. Now they are the hands. We all know about them. The feet, the hands, the mouth, the stomach, and the anus. Now, all of them, and including the excretory organs, the urethra and all those. Now, all of them have three more additional tattvas or elements, which we call as man, buddhi, and ahankar. Man is the mind, buddhi is the intellect, and ahankar is the ego. All right. Imagine all of them are there. And the last time we had also discussed that the gratification of these senses. Now, here Krishna is telling Arjun that a Gyani Jan, a knowledgeable one, a learned one, as Arjun himself was one of the most learned scholars, and still standing on the grounds of Kurukshetra, he was not ready to fight his own people, which where we learn the difference between love and more. Due to his surrender to Mo, he was unable to pick up his weapons and fight against his own beloved people.
Moho,
So
moho means?
Moh is basically the feeling where you have attachment, and that attachment is mostly very strong with your loved ones. We had this, or we've already discussed the difference between love and more. Love is something which is like you love everybody all alike. Love is a feeling which you will have for everyone. More is for mera, for my, for people who belong to me, who are mine, things which I possess, that is more. That is attachment. That attachment that you have to my, mera, is more. So due to he succumbed to Moh, he is not able to fight this war. Now standing there, Shri Krishna is telling him that a learned one, a scholar like you, should be capable of ruling the five senses, not being ruled by the five senses. So basically he's saying that a person who does not engage in his senses, that means that his mouth says, okay, fine, I want to eat XYZ dish, and there is no control on it. So, what is happening? That his sense of taste has taken him to a level where he's gratified that sense and he's landed up in the hospital for some reason.
So could we also call this greed, Archana?
Yes, we are yes.
A sight, a greed for something.
Yeah,
That like that sense overtakes you rather than you having, how do you say, not control, but you having to learn to master it.
that's exactly what Krishna is saying. That because we have no control or mastery over the five senses, we engage in gratification of all the senses.
You know how it feels like, how it sounds, Archana? It
Yeah.
sounds as if our body is the territory,
Yeah.
and the five senses are actually the praja, or the basically my, how do you say, the people who are living in that territory.
The kingdom and the five senses are the praja, absolutely.
You are the king or the
Yeah.
queen who needs to have the mastery over these five senses.
Hmm.
you are going to have the mastery over these five senses, you would know how to rule your kingdom in the most beautiful manner. That's how
Yeah.
it feels when you're talking.
That's exactly how the hierarchy comes, Anu. I'm going to come to that. It is something like Indriya, the senses, are followed by Man. They are ruled by Man. Man is the mind. Mind is ruled by, Man is ruled by Buddhi, that is the intellect. All right. And Buddhi is in the end ruled and controlled and managed by Atma. Atma is the supreme power. So it goes senses, mind, intellect, and Atma. Atma itself is the essence of Krishna consciousness or Paramatma. Please understand, I'll give you a small example. Like we want to check the level of, sugar or TLC, DLC, ESR, hemoglobin, everything in our blood. We don't take out the whole blood. We just take a few drops and we check and we know the result. Similarly, in the vast ocean, we take just a few drops of the ocean water and find out the pollution, the alkalinity, the pH value, the salt, the sweet, the chemical analysis and everything. We don't take the whole sea, we don't take the whole blood. Similarly, please understand that just a few drops of control of Krishna consciousness of Atma is capable of ruling all of these 23 tattvas, all these panch indriyas, all these panch mahabhuts can be controlled by them. Now, what is happening is basically, like even for Arjun, Shri Krishna is saying that lust is the one, the craving, the desire, the ichha, the desire, it is so strong that there's a very nice sentence which comes ke ichha to kutte ke saath khana khilati hai. That means desire actually can make you eat food in the dog's platter. There's a small short story which comes with it, that once there was a king who was a blessed king. There was no dearth of wealth in his kingdom. But one day when he was going on the road, he saw there was a very beautiful red, shiny, he thought it was like a diamond or a ruby on the road. And there was a saint sitting there. Now, this ruby and diamond was apparently tied in the collar of the saint's dog. The collar of the dog had this ruby tied, and the dog was sitting on the road. Now, this king wanted that ruby, though there was no dearth of wealth, rubies, luxuries in his palace, but he wanted to have it. And he went to the saint, approached the saint, and said, "Oh, saint, I want to possess these rubies." The saint said, "No, I will not give it to you. You have enough already. Why do you want it?" But again, the lust, the desire, the ichha, the craving, it will make you do things that you will never do in life. And that's exactly what Arjun was coming down to. A brave soldier, a warrior who has won and, fought umpteen number of wars, was stuck here in this place called Mahabharat, where he does not want to fight this war just because his loved ones are in front of him. Now, the saint told the king that, okay, this dog has a platter. He slurps and eats his food from there. The condition that I shall give you the ruby, because you really are, bound by your senses. Your senses are covered by the lust, the desire to possess them. You have to eat with the dog in his platter. And the king, who was the ruler, he said, okay, I can't do it openly. I can't do it in front of everyone. See, you feel shy doing wrong things, like you're getting carried away. You are showing your weakness to people. So he says, okay, fine, do it in a closed room. Doesn't matter. I just want you to eat with the dog in his platter. And that was arranged. There was a slurpy, thin rice pudding made, which had to be licked the way the dog licks it. And the king bent down on his fours and was just about to have it. And the saint took a big broomstick and literally hit the king the way he would hit his dog. And he said, "O great king, see what lust has come down to you with." That means that what lust is making you do, it is actually got down to you on your force and you're ready to eat with a dog.
Isn't that what's happening in our life today?
Exactly. Yes.
Isn't that what manifested
Yes. Yes.
problems? Isn't that what manifested in the banking industry, where people were greedily giving loans on loans in 2008, the recession?
Yeah.
Isn't that what's creating illnesses? And isn't that what's causing addiction? Isn't that a definition of addiction, especially sexual,
Yes.
alcohol,
Yes.
and not just that,
Drugs, anything. Yeah.
thing. I would say even work is an addiction. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something to run away from and something to feel pleasure from.
That's what the senses are about. You feel that you are taking pleasure out of the senses, not understanding that the pleasures are actually taking gratification out of you. That is the tragedy of it. There's the sentence that comes is, हमें लगता है कि हम इंद्रियों को भोगते हैं, which means that through our senses we are taking the pleasure of the materialistic world, whereas जो इंद्रियां हैं वो ही हमें भोग कर जाती हैं. That means that the senses actually complete themselves, take pleasure out of us. We are ruled by them and they take the pleasure of gratification themselves. We are not ruling them, we are ruled by them.
Absolutely. I'm going to connect this with meta in a most beautiful manner.
Hanji.
So we call about conjunctivitis,
Yeah.
which is to do with the visually connecting with someone. I have to see my loved ones. If I don't see my loved ones, then I feel lost, I feel abandoned, I feel that attachment of mine is not there. It's like that thin attachment that I have with my eyes, with my loved ones. And when I'm not able to see them, my eyes go in stress. My eyes go in so much of stress that when I see them, my eyes actually become red, and it is called conjunctivitis. Conjunctiva means joint. Itis means something that you are angry about. I'm angry that I couldn't meet my loved ones. So just an example to connect Bhagavad Gita with meta health, and just to let you know that it is the attachments. And if Dr. Kwesi was here, he would have said, Anu, all the retinal detachment is because of attachment. See, any word which is connected with detachment of anything across your body, including the organs in the, like the hernia, anything to do with detachment is got to do with attachment.
Attachment.
Cause an
Exactly.
attachment, and so the detachment happened. So you need to really find out, beautiful people, when somebody is unwell, and especially if they're having the organ fall from a place, or an detachment happening somewhere, dislocation happening somewhere, disintegration happening somewhere,
Somewhere.
fission happening somewhere. These are the words. Ask, where are they attached? Who were they so attached to that they are not there in their life anymore? And you will know which sense ruled over them rather than they ruling over the senses.
The senses.
This is nothing but basically our senses ruling over us. Thank you so much.
So this is what Krishna is telling him. And besides this, there is another very beautiful thing where Krishna is telling him that the only way that we can avoid the senses to rule us or to attain their gratification is by having full control on mansa, vacha, and karmana. That means that our action, our words, and our mind, thought have to be in synchronization, have to be in one, have to be one from inside and out. What I'm trying to tell everyone is That what happens is we think one thing, which according to Krishna consciousness is controlling the senses. We speak another thing, and our actions are completely opposite of what we think and what we speak.
Can you give an example here, Archana? Because that would be beautiful if we can get an example along with it. Thank you.
Anu, I'll give a very small example of love. We say to anybody, I love you. Any relation, let's take it's a friend, I love you. And in the mind it's going on, I'm saying I love you, at least you can just say that you love me too. It's a very small thing. Okay, I am saying I love you. I'm thinking that okay, you can at least, return, reciprocate in the same way. Okay, we are going and hugging the person, we are loving the person, we are gifting the person. And what is happening? That action is hidden with some kind of ulterior motive inside us. It is not a pure expression of the love that should be there. Our spoken words, our thought process, and our action are not in sync. If it is sync, if it is in synchronization, love would just happen. We will not see who is sitting in front of us, who is there. It's going to be there for everybody.
Isn't that amazing, Archana? Isn't that what, I mean, when we are looking at people who want to become thin, and they are basically sitting there and saying, I want to become thin, and they're affirming, I want to become thin, I want to become thin, I want to become thin, I want to become thin. But in their actions, they haven't taken any steps to become thin. Nothing is ever done to become thin. And their thought pattern is, oh, but I thought about it, I affirmed, and nothing happened.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
isn't the law of attraction sitting on the same basis and saying, when your thought patterns, what you do, what you say, and everything is in a sync, it is in synchronicity, that's when things happen for you. And that's what is actually explained as law of attraction.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So basically, Krishna is again saying the same thing, that the minute your manasa vacha karma, your mind, your thought, and your action become ones, you are in the state of Krishna consciousness. The
So
law of attraction.
we talk about Christian consciousness, we are saying you're aligned with the universe.
Yes, you are.
I just wanted to clarify that, because people often think Krishna means we're bringing Hinduism. No, I'm bringing the universe here and saying that that's also shown in beautifully with Bhagavad Gita, and how when you are in alignment, everything falls for you and beautifully, and you don't even realize things are just happening.
We don't realize. There's another part to this particular shlok where Sri Krishna is telling us that the sense, the mind, and the intellect, they are all the sitting ducks or the sitting place for lust.
Could you say that again? That
Yeah,
sounds beautiful.
it is saying that the senses, the mind, and the intellect are the sitting places of lust. These are the different levels where lust manifests. Please understand, lust is any craving, any desire, any ichha is the word in Hindi, what we say. Any ichha. It can be any desire. It can be a small desire that I have gone to somebody's house and the person didn't offer me even a glass of water. Even that is a desire. So it can be any desire, and it is covering our senses, mind, and intellect in different degrees, in different intensities.
Wow.
So, O Arjun, please rise above all or three of them, and only then you can take the correct decisions of life and fight the war of Kurukshetra on daily basis.
Wow. So basically, it's like we are so much in control, we think, but we are not even in control of anything. That's what I'm beginning
No,
to
we
understand.
are not. We are not. We
And
are ruled.
constantly we are controlled by our ichhas or desires.
Yes, we are.
And
Absolutely.
take over everything, a desire to have a perfect child, a desire to have a perfect bank balance, a desire to have a perfect figure, a desire to have perfect health, a desire to have perfect fame,
Perfect family.
a desire to have a perfect family. That's right. Desire
Children. We
perfect, desire a pet which is perfect, who gives you love. It's like, I often say this, Archana, and it's just coming together, that if we had a way, we are such control freaks, we would open people's heads, put up the wiring, and say, now you are comfortable for me.
yeah.
Until you do not become comfortable for me, I will keep controlling you. So I felt as if we as parents and we as people control others when we know their desires.
And the worst is, Anu, we do not have our own control on ourselves.
Yeah, and yet we are spending all the
And time, effort, and energy in controlling each one of others.
time.
That is what the tragedy of this particular adhyay is, that Shri Krishna is telling Arjun that please learn to control yourself first. Control your thought, your actions, your desires, your everything. Do your actions, do your work, do everything. Don't wait for the result. Don't keep the result in mind and do your actions. We are so result oriented. Every action हम ऐसे plan करेंगे, we'll plan this way, we'll do this to achieve that. What Krishna is telling us,
That's that we are doing constantly, right?
repeat that, I lost your connection, please.
That we are doing constantly.
Yeah.
1 plus 1 is equal to 11 is our maths. And when
Yeah.
it doesn't turn out to be 11 and turns out to be 2, we are very disappointed. We
We
are,
are.
we become numb. And because this game, this war we are playing inside our head, it's not happening outside, it's happening within us. And so beautifully, Archana, you said, I can't control my senses. And
Yeah.
I'm going there trying to control my child's senses. I'm trying to control my husband's senses. I'm trying to control my colleague's senses. As if to appear we are manipulating, is how it sounds to me. And we are trying to program ourselves in such a way that we are saying, I am your God, I can control you. I mean, how?
How? Yes, that's what Gita teaches us, Anu. That's why I call it my elixir, that it is telling me every day, learn to be happy yourself, learn to be control of your senses, learn to achieve all that in you, and you will see that the surroundings fall in place in itself.
I was doing a client's work yesterday and he had a frown on his face.
Okay.
A real frown here. Okay. I asked him, how old are you? And he
Okay.
said, I'm 25. And I
Okay.
him and I smiled. I said, it's really strange. I don't know what's happening in your life, but you seem to be controlled by something more than happiness, because happiness is not showing on your
No.
face.
Hmm.
And it's almost like we are not just attached to the outcome, but we are also attached to belonging, that basic survival, so much so that we'll copy people's actions, we'll copy people's expressions, we copy people's every bit. And that's not something that's going to help us. And I can see families with the same expression. It's as if they are sitting down and saying, I belong here. My attachment is going to be showing from my face, from my body language, from my mannerism, from my behavior. And we are caught up in the desire to be. And Dr. Kwesi again says, to be or not to be.
Is the
That's,
question.
that's a decision we got to make.
Exactly. That's exactly where Arjun is stuck. And there's another very beautiful thing that follows this. It says that a person whose senses are fully satisfied, a person who is completely satisfied, is absolved, is taken away from the duties. Basically, understand that if we are controlled by our senses, we do all our actions, telling us this is our duty, this is our requirement, this is what we are supposed to do. But if we follow the righteous path, we are, absolved, we are freed of all the duties. We are not bound by duties because we are doing the right karmas in our mind, in our words, and our actions. There's a synchronicity there, and then you are freed of the pressure of being a dutiful one because you are the righteous one.
Can you explain to people what is right and wrong?
Right and wrong is a
Lot
concept.
mentioned this in the last few episodes also, the righteous, the right, the wrong. And people are somewhere caught up in this whole cycle of right and wrong. And what I have understood may be entirely different. So I really want to hear from you. What exactly is right and what exactly is wrong?
Anu, here when we are talking through Gita, we are talking about dharma and adharma. Okay, it is not religion, it is the action, dharma and adharma, which is wrong. Now, here we were discussing about the Kurukshetra, which is being fought between the Pandu and the Kaurav brothers. There was a part of injustice that had happened to the Pandav brothers by the Kauravas. Okay. Now, right and wrong here is the place where the Pandavas were made to, let's say, they were made to go through a lot of hardship. Their wife was insulted in a court. All that here is the wrong, the adharma. All right. Where you are insulting a lady publicly. And there were people who were the teachers, the fathers, the friends and relatives in that court who could have taken stand to avoid such kind of wrongdoing. But they did not take the right stand. That was the right stand to be taken. It happens even today. When we see publicly something going wrong and we do not take the right stand because of our fears, because of our weaknesses, the same thing happened in that court. That is where right and wrong is coming here from.
Okay, so basically, it's not about right, your own presumptuous right and wrong.
No, it's not.
And the other question that comes to me, Archana, and I'm like going with my gut here and what I'm understanding, and I'm really acknowledge you for answering from this end to that.
That,
Um, when all the mentors were sitting there, all the people were sitting there, and they knew it was wrong, why were they promoting the right? Why were they promoting it as right? Why
they
were
were,
they not standing up?
yeah, they were not standing up. Like, I'll just take one character for today. We'll talk about Bhishma Pitama. All right. He is the eldermost person in that court. He's the eldest. Now, Bhishma Pitama, for some reason, had pledged his allegiance to the throne. There's a story behind it because Bhishma's father wanted to marry Satyavati, and Satyavati was scared that because Bhishma was already the son of Satyavati's husband, and that Satyavati's husband was King Shantanu. Now, what happened was Satyavati took a pledge from Shantanu saying that even though Bhishma is his eldest son, he will not take the throne. The throne will be given to Satyavati's son only. All right. Now, when that happened, Satyavati wasn't satisfied. She said, what if after a few years, suddenly Bhishma wants the throne? Then what will happen? And Bhishma is the son of goddess Ganga. He's called Ganga Putra Bhishma, the son of Ganga. All right. So Bhishma is the son of of Ganga. He is one of the most powerful souls living on the earth at that time. Powerful in the extent of knowledge, he's complete. The knowledge of weapons that he has is complete, and the knowledge of politics, the science, the any knowledge of that time. He was a complete man. So that is what Bhishma is. So then Bhishma took a pledge saying that I will never fight for the throne and I pledge to live a life of a bachelor. He never got married because there was another fear that, okay, if Bhishma doesn't want the throne, what if his son wants the throne? So he pledged not to marry, he pledged to bachelorhood and his allegiance to the throne, that whoever is sitting on the throne, I abide with him, I am with him, I am his back. Okay. Now, what happened? This person, Bhishma, was there in the court that time when the wrongdoings were happening. But because the king who was sitting on the throne was Dhritarashtra and his son Duryodhan had done the wrongdoings, Dhritarashtra, again under the cover, under the influence of Moh, did not tell his son that he is taking a wrong decision. He is doing something wrong. We do not treat the ladies in the royal families this way. He did not take that stand against his own son because he was under the moh of his son.
So
So,
basically you're saying, Archana, that if I'm attached to my son, I will pardon a lot of things that he would do wrong. I would create excuses.
Anu, don't we do that?
Of course,
We ignore, we neglect, we avoid so many wrongdoings of our own children.
not just that, something that I've always said. You know, there is every woman who will say, my husband did this to me. But his mother standing there would say, no, I don't think my son did that. I think you are at fault. Not just
Exactly.
that,
That's the mother.
children will stand there and they will look at their father and not know which side to be, to show their attachment to which side more, and to which side to be pardoned and which side to be controlled. And this would create a whole tamasha of guilt, because if I take papa's side, then it's wrong. If I take mama's side, then it's wrong. So I'll stay somewhere in between. And that looks like what that day in the court. People stayed in between because they didn't want to show
Yes.
that they were taking sides. Don't we do that
Yeah.
when the riots happen in our country? We just sit on the edge, on the ledge, I would say, and say, oh, this one should have done this and this one should have done this. But we never take a stand. And I know of a modality which is called landmark here, and must acknowledge that modality. They actually help you to take a stand, and they actually help you to take that responsibility, and they actually call it the stand. I mean, you're taking stand first for yourself, then for the
Yeah.
people who you love. So thank you for clarifying that, because my mind went everywhere when you kept saying right and wrong. So right and wrong is not outside, it is the injustice that is happening, and it is on your perception what is just and what is unjust. Like
Unjust.
said very beautifully, that the royal ladies should not be treated like this. Let's go a little further and say, no man, no woman, no child, nobody should be treated like this.
That's exactly what Sri Krishna said in that quote.
Yeah.
That's exactly because Sri Krishna was sent by the Pandavas after all this ordeal that, okay, fine, we take the punishment of whatever has happened. They took the 12 years of their, giving up the throne and everything. And Sri Krishna was sent there. And Sri Krishna said that, first of all, nothing should have happened and happening in the court of Hastinapur. Just imagine that if the lady of the royal family is not safe, These are the words of Sri Krishna saying that if those people, that Guru, Dronacharya, Bhishma Pitama, Kripacharya, Vidur, they all who have all the power to control, did not take the right stand. That is the only reason, oh Arjun, you have to fight this war for the common people. That if a royal lady is not safe, Arjun, you have to punish the wrongdoers so that no Duryodhan tomorrow can pick up the guts to try and nude or take off the clothes of a lady in a public place.
Archana,
That was the war. That was the reason of this war. That was the crux.
I get that. Asking you the last question before we tune off and meet tomorrow again. And the last question that I'm going to ask you, Nirbhaya happened in Delhi.
It did.
It's the capital.
Oh, yes, sad.
Bhayas happen every day. My heart breaks when I see 2-day-old baby, 3-month-old baby, 81-year-old woman. Are we saying that we never learned?
No, we haven't. It's the Kali, we haven't learned anything. Again our mothers, oh, you are my son and you are free to live in the society. Oh, that girl, you know, she is the vulnerable one. Oh yes, she's the weak one and you can do what you want to. We are doing that. We are not doing the right even today after going through Mahabharat. We haven't learned our lessons yet, Anu. And because as mothers, as ladies, we do not teach our sons and daughters the right thing. That is one of the main reasons why our society is the way that it is right now.
Is that
Even after going through Mahabharat, we haven't learned to respect a common lady, a common girl, a common baby.
we say, Archana, is it respect or is it taking stand for anyone? Because love means when you look at the collective and call it yours. Our attachment is very conditional.
Anu, love, you know, love is the most beautiful thing. Please understand, I'll give you a sentence which my Guruji says, that love is not an action, it is a state of mind. It is just the state of mind. And if it is love, it will be same for everyone. It is only when you are overpowered by your lust, you take wrong action, decisions, your eyes see the lady or the girl the wrong way. If it is love, you will not be able to do that. You will see a baby as a baby. That's why they say that please see Krishna in everything. The way I cited one day that brass idol in your temple and the brass latch on your door, everything is Krishna. That slipper is Krishna. The sari you wear is Krishna. If you have that sense that everything is divinity, how will lust overpower you? How will ichha overpower you? How will desire overpower you? How will you do a wrong thing? How will you go wrong?
Beautifully explained, Archana. And I will conclude today with just saying this, that even today, we need to look into the mirror, which is a practice created by Louis L. Hay. And then when we look into the mirror and we say, I love you, that's when we realize I love you. We've never looked into our own eyes,
We haven't.
never looked at ourselves and found anything lovable there. Beautiful people. I am so blessed to have Archana speak about Bhagavad Gita, and I'm in deep gratitude that she is making, all this so easy for me. I would have not been able to open the book and read because it's not something that I had put it in my whole vision board. But if this is coming to me in such a more beautiful, simple manner, then we all need to think about it. So Archana, do you want to say something before we conclude? I just want to end today with a little bit of a sound.
No, I think that sentence again, love is not an action, but just a state of mind.
Wow.
I think we all should just follow this, spend our day and night with this thought, and we'll come back again with it and following with the sound session with Anu.
Absolutely. We'll be there tomorrow again at the same time. That's 12:30, around 12:30, quarter to 1. we'll be there. So we'll end this with just a little bit. Thank you, everybody. Danke, धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया, बहुत मेहरबानी. कल फिर मिलेंगे. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
कल फिर मिलेंगे.
Thank you.